Hello, everybody. This is Wellington Nija from Computer Science Zimbabwe, and welcome to Java Programming. And today we're looking at this popular framework in Java called Spring Boot. So Spring Boot follows the architecture of the MVC, model view controller architecture, when you're creating your APIs or you're creating your applications. And what you're seeing here on my tab, my browser, is the Spring Initializer, which is one way which is used to create some Spring Boot applications. So I'm going to explain what you're seeing here on the tab, and we shall have fun. Um, Hey, we are going to do a simple project to create some web service for a student, which is to update, create, delete, and read. So that is it. Let's just start, and hope by the end of this tutorial you shall understand some basic concept about Spring Boot. So what you're seeing here on the tab, we have this project, and we have Credo, Groovy, Credo, Kotlin, and Maven. So these are dependent managers. They help us to manage our dependencies. So for the sake of this project, I'm going to choose Maven because this one is the one that I've been using ever since. And the language, you can specify the language that you want to use, either Java, Kotlin, or Groovy. But for now, we are selecting Java. And for the Spring Boot version, you can choose either one of these. Uh, uh, 3.2 and this one snapshot are the new ones, and you can just try it and see how are they. So I'm going to choose this one. And for project metadata for the group, this is the group of our project. So I'm going to just say student, like this. So and for that fact, just going to say student. And for the description, I'm going to say just web services uh, for student. So this is it. And with package, you're just going to leave it like that. And for packaging, we have jar and war. So the difference between a jar and a war is that jar is the modern, it is the modern packaging, whilst war is kind of a, a, uh, a way back packaging. So the difference between these two is Jar, it is an embedded Tomcat server, whilst Y doesn't have an embedded Tomcat server. You need to install Tomcat for you to deploy a WAR file. But for Jar file, you don't need any Tomcat. It is an embedded Tomcat server. You just run some few commands, and your application you start running. So for type of Java, I'm going to select Java 17. You can choose if you want to choose 21, you can use 21. So now for the dependencies here. So we said the Maven manage dependents. So these are the dependents that Maven will manage. First, I'm going to select Spring Web. Spring Web. Let me just say web. So Spring Web. So this one allows us to create some RESTful APIs, and this one is the one that follows the MVC. And then the other one, going to select the JPA. So JPA. So JPA just stands for Java Persistent API. So this one is the dependence that deals with ORM, object relational mapping. When we are writing our Spring Boot apps, we'll be writing all these in Java, and there is no SQL language that will be writing there unless you want to. But this one, JPA, is the one that converts your your Java objects into a way that can be understood by any relational database, either MySQL, Postgres, um, Oracle, MS SQL, any of these. So this one caters for that, so if I don't understand SQL, I don't have to worry. This one will do the behind for me. Or I just need to know is the Java methods and so forth. And then another dependency is Loombook. So this one helps me to reduce boilerplate code. So boilerplate code, this is the code that is repetitive, like getters and setters. So it helps me to generate those. I don't have time to create those, you know, because they might it just saves time, Lombok. And the other one, it's MySQL connector. So for this purpose of this tutorial, I'm using MySQL database. So MySQL database is just one of the most popular database now, which is an open source database. So this is the dependent that I'm using for this project. And so let us now generate the file. So when I generate, we have this um, folder that has been created, and that is it. So now we are good to go. Now move to our IDE, IntelliJ, and start to write some code there. So that is it. So let me go to my IDE. So this is my ID. As you can see, I've opened to the last tutorial. This is where we left. We are doing OOP. So let me just import the the project that we have created. So I'm going to the file and the save file, and I say module from existing sources. So I'm going to select the module. Okay. It actually it is in the downloads. Okay. There's something that happened, but anyway, let's just have some fun and do it. So downloads. Um, I'm going to select that one called student. Yeah. Uh, so let us select it, student, and I'm going to create it. So that is it. So if I look here, let me look here. I think this is here, student. This one. So let us use this window. I hope you are, this is quite well and you are seeing this. Okay, so let me load here. I'm going to load the dependence for this application so that um, all the dependencies are catered for. So this is the application. Um, we are good to go. So we have this folder. So I'm going to explain each and everything that you are seeing here on this folder. And here we have the Maven. So this is the Maven, the dependence manager that will manage the dependencies. And on the source here, I have this main function where uh, uh, when we run this Spring Boot application, it first run this main function and uh, our code then will be displayed. So and we have these resources. So in these resources folder with static and templates. So if I'm creating a probably I want to create a monolithic uh, application, probably it's a monolithic, sorry, it's a whereby I'll create all the system is in one package. There's no web services. So this is where I go on the static. I put my HTMLs, and on the templates, my CSS, all these things you can put it right in these folders. And these properties, so in properties, this is where we configure what we want our application to behave. We can configure the connection to the database. The actual There's also another way of defining your properties in Spring Boot, which is using the YAML file. So the YAML file, they are both different in way you write them, but YAML file give you the room to 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 configure your application the way you want it. So and here we have this test. So if you can run your tests after you created the application, you can run your tests here to test whether your methods um, are working the way you want them to work. So it provides with all of this, and we have this POM file, and this POM file have all the dependents that we have mentioned before, like the loan book, like the Spring Book Starter, the JPA, and here you can see that here I have a problem here with the loan book. So let me just uh, correct it so that we don't have anything, and I have to load this the dependents. So this is it, and I think that's it. So let's just start to write our code. So the first thing that we're going to start to do is to um, define our connection to the database. So let's just start to write. So we just say Spring. So I'm just going to use properties instead of YAML. So Spring dot um, data source. So here we are defining the data source dot URL equal to JDBC, and the one we are connecting to is MySQL, and here say the URL for MySQL is localhost localhost. The port is 3306, which is the default one. And here I'm going to specify the name of the database, which is I've created it already. It's students. So this is the database, and I'm going to specify Spring dot data source dot username. So here I'm going to specify the username for my database, it's root, and I'm going to specify again the password dot data source dot uh, password. So here I'm going to leave it so that I'll put it later so that you can not just see my password. So now the most important thing is to make sure that our 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 application JPA does the behind of the scenes for us when we are writing our code. So I'm going to say Spring dot JPA dot properties dot Hibernate dot dialect equals to org dot Hibernate dot dialect dot uh, MySQL dialect. So this one it will just specifying that for when I'm writing my Java methods, uh, the behind the scenes you have to convert you have to convert those Java methods to be to a way MySQL understood and understand. So if I'm using Postgres, I have to specify Postgres. If I'm using another one, I have to specify that kind of database that I'm using. So again, I'm going to specify this one command, spring.jpa dot hibernate hibernate uh, dot d dl data definition language auto equal to update. So I'm passing this because I want every time I run my application, it will not it will just update, not to restart the application. If I specify another one here, uh, other than update, when I run my application, let's say I've stored something in the database, those data that I've stored in the database will be deleted, and will just start again. So this will prevent data loss. So this is it. So I'm going to just stop to share so that I can put my password. I'm going to leave you with this this page. so that at least I can put my password. You don't see my password. So that is it, and I think this is fun. Uh, you you enjoy spring. You enjoy spring and enjoy spring. So that is it. I'm just putting my password just for wait a second. Will be good and will be good to go. Um, so my password, I have put it. So let us go back to our application. So now we are back. Um, we are back. So let us just run the application. So that is it. Application is it's working, and now let us just start. So one of the things that Spring Boot here for us is the something that is called the JSON marshaller. So JSON marshaller, it allows us that when we return our objects, it convert them to JSON. So you shall see what I'm talking about when we are writing code. So let's just start to create a model. So I'm going to create a model. So model. So model, we say just say a student. So this is a student model. So here I'm going to use the first one. I'm going to create uh, a no argument constructor. So this is provided by Loombook. This create a no argument constructor for this class and an O argument constructor. So this create an O argument constructor for this class and a data create my getters and setters for this application. And this one at NDT, this one is catered for by the JPA. So it shows that this class is now an NDT. And here I say a table. So I'm specifying this object, this class, it's a table. So if I want to save this table with another name other than this name of the class, I can just say name and just pass the name of the table that I want it to be named on the database. But for now, I just want it to be named a student. So we'll just leave it like this. So now, what are properties that I'm going to put in this student class? I'm going just to put a few, because this is just for sake of demo. I'm going to put a private long ID. So because the student need an ID. So we need an ID for keeping these things for this data in the database, and also need private string private string first name. We need the first name of the student. Also private string. Also need the surname of the student, and also the other thing private string uh, reg number, each student reg number. So these are things that probably we just need for now. For now, because this is just a demo application. So now our application, our model has been created. Uh, let's now create an interface for this first for interface for the communication between the database and our model. So here I'm going to create a class. So this is an interface. We just say a repository, and the name of the repository just say student repository, repository like this. So we have created this repository. So this one extends the JPA. So here I'm going to pass two things, which is the model, which is the student model, and the 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 ID, the data type of the ID of this model. So this one, the JPA, you give us some methods that you can just pre-use. Uh, the, that you don't need to know SQL language. This JPA will create those some Java methods that you can use, and under the hood will convert it to SQL programming. So this is it. And now let us create our controller. So where we will write our our web services. So this is a controller. So student controller. So this is it. This is a student controller. So this is our controller. And one of the first thing that we have to add here, it's to say this one, I want it to be controller. So you say REST controller. This one is a REST controller, and add requests mapping at request mapping. So this one, I'm going to give the URL for our application. So just say slash API slash, just name them student, and we say slash. So this is it, or that's it. And for now, to use my controller, I have uh, to import the repository here. So I'm going to say it auto-wired private 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 student repository here, and student repository here. I can declare this as private file now, but I don't want to create a constructor because I just don't want to create a constructor. But anyway, if you want to say private final, which is good, you have to create a constructor, but I just don't want. And now the first method that I want to create, it's a post method, which is to post a student to our database. So I'm going to use this post mapping. So here, here on the post mapping, you can specify the URL, but for the sake of uh, I don't have to many APIs that I'm creating here, so I'm just going to leave it like this, so that when we are running this on Postman, it just know that this is will get this method. And also the way I'm doing this, I'm just going to write my logic on this controller. Some want to write on to create a service, then they import those methods that they created on the service here. But I just want to do it right here because just saves my time. So let's just write. So I'm going to create a class here, public what the return type here, what do you want to return. I can just say return a string, or I can just say uh, response entity, response body, uh, response response entity, will be my return type, or a string, whatever you want. It is good. So I just say what can we give the name to this method, and add add student, add student. So here I'm going to specify what we need. So at request body, so at request body, what I'm going to specify here, the the data type of the return body will be a student, and this is a student. So here I just it marked me red because we need to import the model a student. So this is it. So now what can we do? We just have to use the student repository to save the entity student, and that's it. We've just created our first API. And what do we need to return? To return, I can just say response entity dot okay, and I want to display student added successfully, which is okay. Or I can just remove this and I put a string, and here I remove this. It just works. It work. And this is our first endpoint. And let's create another endpoint, uh, probably to get the students, all students that are there. So here we just say at get. This is a get method at get mapping, and here we just say public. So the return type here will be a list. The return type will be a list of all the students, and so we say get all students. So this is the name of the method, and here we don't need to pass anything. We just need to get some students. So here I'm just going to say list. This one is a list of students, and just say students. Yes, and we use the student repo dot find all. This is the function. You just find all. This one is just same as select all from uh, students. You just select me all, and I have to return students. So this is what I was talking about the JSON marshaller. So here you see I've just returned students. So this one will, when we'll get our data on the Postman, this will be converted to JSON. So it is one of the uh, default package that we have on Spring Boot, JSON marshaller. So this will cater for that one. So let me create another get to get a student by ID. So here I'm just going to specify the parameters here, an ID, and here just going to say public public. What are we going to return here is a student, which is uh, and I say this is the name of the function get student by ID. So this is the method, and what do we need here? It's a path variable. So we need a path variable which is a long an ID. So now we can create. So now uh, we say a student equal to student repo. We're going to use this find by ID method, and we're going to put our ID there, and dot or else. What or else if you don't find that, just return now, and that's it. And it we return the student. That's it, and we get our student. And let us create another one, which is um a an update. So we want to use a put mapping, and here we so here we also need the ID the ID of the student, the ID, and here I'm going to just say public. Uh, so I want it to return the details that have been updated. So student, say update student. So student, my spelling for student, student. So what do we need here? We need a path variable. We need an ID. So long ID, and also we need the request body. So we say it's request body, which is just the student, object of student, and this is the variable. And now what do we need to do first is to look for the student by the ID. So just say student. So um, student. So I'm going to say uh, updated. This one it's updated student. So and equal to uh, student repo dot find by ID here, and you put the ID and dot or else no, and we when we get the student, um, what else can you do now? Want to update the student for the details for the student. So say the updated student dot want to set the first name, first name, first name. What are we setting the first name with? With the student dot get first name, first name. So here we're just saying the information that we are updating this object student, we are getting it from this variable that we've declared here. So that is it. And what else we need to update? We update student dot set. We put surname. So surname and student dot get surname, just like this, just simple as that. And also that thing is the reg number dot set reg, no. And what data are we getting from this one? Student dot get reg norm. So this is it. And after that, we need to save the student to just say student report dot save uh, updated student. And here we return the updated student like this. So here we just created our uh, our update. So just to repeat again, this one will get the information of the student by ID that want to update, and we set the information of that student by getting the information from this request board, and that's all. That's it. And now let us create a delete. So it's delete mapping, and here we delete by using the ID. So that is it. And here we just say public. Uh, I just want to return a string because I have used the response entity, so I just want to use a string so that you can just see say delete student. So here I just needed path variable, which is a long ID, which is in the ID, and here we're just going to say, okay, mm, student repo dot delete by ID. So this is what I was talking about. What uh, the JPA does for us, it just have already predefined method that we can use. This one is it's just the equal as just a delete from student where ID is equals to something. So this is just the same as, and here I'm going to return a string which is student deleted successfully. So that is it. Actually, you can decide to return this as objects. It's whatever you want. You can just do it. It's just simple. So here we created, think 1, 2, 3, 4 endpoints, and let's just run and see what will happen. So here you can see these are red. Uh, it is just saying cannot resolve set name method. But anyway, these are already created by Lombok. So you see when I run this application, we don't have any error. So let us run and see. Okay, I think we have an error. So let us just put together. You just say creating error name, being find entity com student is no identified entity class must declare inherit at ID and this one. Okay. That's perfect. That is very correct. So here this error, I think uh it's good that we have found this area together so that at least when you are doing this on your own, you can uh, easily debug. So let's just read defined in class path, this class path entity com. So this is in our in our model, in our model class, there's no identifier. Entity must declare an inherit ID. So we don't have an identifier here. So here, the thing that I forgot to do is to put, because when we create our tables have um, a primary key on the database side. They have a primary key which is uh, a, a a field that uniquely identifies a tuple. So let us just add that. So use this add ID. So this is it. So and then we're telling it the type of ID that it uses. It is a generative value. Uh, so the strategy it is generate auto. So it's here we're telling that when we create these tables, the ID will be auto incremented. So this is it. So that's why we have this error. So let us just run again, and our error will be resolved. So we just read here. Tomcat started on port 88 and started the application. So yeah, our application has been started, and actually you can change this port to the port that you want by on our properties. Just say server dot port if you are using properties, but if you are using YAML server and put some semicolon and say port and subcolon and you put the port number. So that is it. So now let us you go to the postman and try to manipulate this data on postman. So that's it. Let us go to postman. So this is our postman, and here, so we're just going to test our APIs and see what they return, what they'll do. So now I'm going to start to use post API. So you say HTTP uh, localhost. The port that you are using is 8080, and here it's API slash student slash like this. So here I'm going to put the request body. This one is raw, and I'm going to use JSON. So here, just we need the first name. Just say first name. The first name I'm going to put is obvious my name. I'm going to put myself here in this. Another thing is the surname. Surname. Here I'm going to put my surname, and another again I'm going to put a reg number. Reg no. So I'm going to put this one is a reg number. Just say R a R001. So these are just the reg number. So let us just send and see what will happen. So here we get student successfully added. So here we've added the student. So let us just check that is the student in the database. So I'm going to use a get method, and on the get method, let me just copy this, just put it here because uh, post here. So here there's nothing that we just not going to get our data. So here we're getting this data, which is the ID, the first name, and this one it's a list and an object. You can see that this is a JSON, which is JSON Marshall did this for us, and we can, let me just add another student here. I'm going to just say the name of this one, it's student, so that you can just get student. Student needs the reg number. I'm going to put 2. So I'm going to add this one. I'm going to say this one is a student. They just put 3 of them, and yeah. So student, if you want to look for this student, you can just send here. You can see here we have 3 students, 3 of them, 3 of the students here, student, and this one, and let us get a student by ID. So here, let me just do this. Let me just take this URL again and put it here, and I'm going to select the student by with ID 1. So here you get it. If I put ID number 2, we're getting the student 2. If I get the student 3, you're getting it. If I put a student 4, actually we don't have this student. So that is it. You can just modify on on the endpoints when you create when you are doing on your own, so that you can display that there's no student with such an ID. But anyway, that is it. And let us do another uh, endpoint. Another endpoint. It's for, let's look at update. So we're going to update. I think let us update student. Which student? We can student at ID number 1 here. So here, let me just copy this. Student number 1. So here is student number 1, which is, and our method here will be a put. and it requests the request body, which is raw JSON. You say JavaScript JSON. Let us put it here and remove the idea. You don't need it. So here we just want to update. Put maybe I want to update the first name to say what can we update? Let's just update the reg number. Reg number. Let's say we can just say 000. That's the start of our maybe uh, our reg number. We update this. So let us put this. So here you can see we have returned our object is updated. Here our object is updated. If I put here, let me just put just Wellington, probably say Wellington Junior. So here we have Wellington Junior. If you want to get, you look at our get APIs here, just say that our our student ID one has been updated. So our put is working. So let us just delete. So delete this delete endpoint and going to I'm going to just copy this URL and I'm going to delete. Let us just select which one to delete. I think we delete this one, number 3. It just don't make sense. So let us delete number 3, and here we're just going to put 3. This is the ID that we want to delete. So let us send student deleted successful. So let us check that is this the student correctly deleted. So here if we send this, we don't have for ID number 3. So that is creating some REST for APIs using Spring Boot. I hope you've understood this concept. I didn't tell you about the Postman. So the Postman, this is it's a it's a it's a workstation where you can test your endpoints. You can also document your endpoints there. Uh, so that is it. So this is for today, and on the next episode we shall look at. So this, in a nutshell, is just the the, just the basics for creating web services, and we shall look at what are called events. On the next episode, which I'll look at security in Spring Boot. So creating web services, these web services that we have created, want to ensure that they are secure and authenticated, so that when someone just get the endpoint out there, that person will not get the data from there. So we going we shall write using this same project, we shall write, we shall use JWT tokens and use also the Spring security module that is in there. So the first one we just do authentication, use the MVC security, and the other one we just use this Spring security. So I hope you learn a lot from this. So this is Wellington Nidza from Computer Science Zimbabwe. Don't forget to share, to like, and comment. I want to hear a comment on some of the things, so that you can just this will be fun. So bye bye.